People say I am the calmest wind on the arena, the strictest ruler on the training ground, always rational, disciplined, and never disordered by anyone. In the eyes of the world, I am mature, steady, restrained, and transparent. I have witnessed all the cruelty of competitive sports and understood all the gains, losses, talents, and regrets on the track. I am used to reviewing games calmly, judging rationally, and choosing objectively. I hide my emotions deep inside and cover my heart with restraint, using the strictest standards to guard every youthful dream that rushes toward the arena. They all think I am born calm, rational, and unbreakable, but only I know that all my restraint is accumulated through years of experience. All my sobriety is self-protection after seeing countless regrets, and all my discipline is the armor I built for myself. I am not born cold, but I understand too well the cruelty of competitive sports. I am not born distant, but I know too clearly that passion and talent can never resist the collapse of mentality, sudden injuries, and worldly trade-offs. I have seen too many high-spirited teenagers fail, too many talented athletes retire regretfully, too much enthusiasm crushed by reality, and too much sincerity consumed by victory and defeat. Therefore, I dare not be soft or indulgent. I can only use strict training to guard their most burning dreams. I once thought my life would always be fixed between the track and the training field. My mission was to witness, accompany, guide, and support young athletes, to stand in the dark and watch them rush to the arena, chase glory, and bloom brilliantly. I was a coach, an instructor, a guide, and a bystander. I would never be someone who falls in love, sinks into affection, or breaks principles and disrupts my life for anyone. I abided strictly by boundaries and always kept a clear distance between teachers and students. I firmly believed that I could always distinguish career responsibility from personal affection. I could treat others gently, guide them patiently, and tolerate the recklessness and passion of teenagers. But I would never cross the line, never fall for anyone, never allow private feelings to tarnish the purest belief in sports. Until Duan Yucheng appeared, he is like an unexpected blazing fire, crashing into my regular and stable life. Passionate, reckless, pure and stubborn, he burns fearlessly and rushes forward without hesitation. Possessing the unique sincerity and courage of youth, he is different from all the athletes I have ever met. Some pursue futures, honors, and rankings, but his love is pure and transparent. His persistence is burning and dazzling. He does high jump not for fame, fortune, or recognition, but for the purest fondness in his heart and the unyielding stubbornness in his bones. When I first met him, I only regarded him as a talented but impulsive newcomer, too arrogant, sharp-tempered, and eager to prove himself. I chose to suppress his pride, polish his edges, and correct his impetuosity with strict training, rational judgment, and calm reminders to settle his mentality. I thought I was just cultivating a potential athlete, fulfilling my duty as a coach, and guarding a worthy talent. I never imagined that one day this teenager would completely disrupt my sense of proportion, break my principles, and shake all my convictions. I have seen his most dazzling appearance: approach, take off, leap, and clear the bar in one smooth motion, graceful yet powerful, with eyes full of sincere love for high jump. The unique brilliance of a talented youth, bright enough to illuminate the dull and arduous training ground. Yet I have also seen his most embarrassed, vulnerable, and collapsed moments. I have watched him train with injuries, gritting his teeth and persevering despite stinging pain and physical exhaustion. I have seen him collapse mentally, fall into self-doubt and anxiety, denying his own talents and efforts amid repeated failures and doubts. I have seen him belittled by rivals, criticized by others, and suppressed by reality, yet stand up again and again, restart his approach, and chase his passion with all his strength. The world only sees his talent, his highlight moments, and his brilliant counterattack achievements. But what I see is the thousands of repeated polishings behind his talent, the unknown sweat and grievances behind his glory, and the endless burning stubbornness rooted in his youthful bones. As his coach, I was the first to discover his preciousness, understand his sincerity, and realize that his passion is not temporary impulse, but lifelong perseverance. Therefore, I tried my best to guard his dream, block external prejudice and criticism for him, fight for every competition opportunity, stay up late to review every mistake with him, and accompany him through every confused and difficult bottleneck period. Others only care about results, but I accompany him through every process, Others only talk about wins and losses. But I understand all his persistence. Others easily deny his efforts. But I always stand firmly behind him, telling him that he is worthy, capable, and destined to shine. My initial heartbeat was never love at first sight in the worldly sense, but gradual affection accumulated through day and night companionship. It grew as I watched that reckless and flamboyant teenager settle down, mature and transform step by step, from impetuosity to steadiness, from eagerness to prove himself to calm self-possession. I have seen all his imperfections, his childishness, stubbornness, impulsiveness, and sensitivity. Yet I am deeply touched by the pure passion, sincere heart, and exclusive preference in his eyes. I have lived in rationality and restraint for more than a decade, accustomed to weighing pros and cons, keeping proper boundaries, and restraining emotions. But Duan Yucheng taught me that life does not need to be always sober, tense, and perfect. He let me see that passion can be so magnanimous, sincerity so straightforward, fondness so warm, and devotion so fearless. Like a blazing beam of light, he tore apart my years of restraint and calm, broke into my plain and orderly life, and brought burning temperature to my rigid and dull world for the first time. I once thought I was rational and sober enough to control my emotions and life perfectly. I believed that teacher-student boundaries were inviolable, age gaps unignorable, and identity differences unbreakable. I warned myself countless times that I was his coach and guide, that I must remain professional, restrained, and distant, never falling in love or crossing boundaries. Yet love has never been controlled by reason, and heartbeat never limited by identity, age, or distance. It took root quietly in the ordinary days of training and companionship, sprouted in the moments of mutual support and redemption, and grew irresistibly in his frank, warm, and exclusive preference. He is blatant preference, unreserved devotion, and magnanimous fondness. He never cares about worldly opinions, age gaps, identity differences, or public criticism. When he likes me, he pursues openly, confesses frankly, and persists earnestly. He expresses his feelings straightforwardly, takes care of my emotions clumsily, supports me when I am tired and exhausted, relaxes me when I am tense and rational, and gives all his tenderness, sincerity, and passion exclusively to me. The world thinks it is the younger him who chases love fearlessly and devotes unilaterally. But only I know that this relationship has never been his one-sided devotion, but mutual redemption, mutual sinking, and mutual perfection. He redeemed my rigid life, freeing me from the cage of rationality to learn relaxation, tenderness, and bold love. I supported his burning dream, allowing him to retain pure passion, break worldly prejudice, and step steadily onto his peak. I guard his youthful passion, and he gives me worldly tenderness. I accompany him to chase arena glory, and he endows my remaining life with warmth and fervor. Being a few years older, I have more maturity, thoroughness, worries, and prudence. I am not unbrave or uncertain, but more aware of worldly judgment, realistic obstacles, and public pressure. I fear that worldly criticism will consume his passion, secular prejudice will limit his future, and identity constraints will affect his sports career. I worry that my temporary heartbeat will delay his brilliant life. Therefore, I restrained, hesitated, retreated, and struggled repeatedly. I pushed him away again and again, not because I disliked him, but because I cherished him too much. Not because I was unmoved, but because I feared letting him down. I dared not accept his warmth or respond to his sincerity easily, for I knew that youthful passion is pure and burning, and I could not let such sincerity be worn down by the world or his future tied down by love. Yet he never retreated because of my restraint, never gave up because of my hesitation, never cooled down because of my estrangement. Every retreat of mine was met with firmer devotion from him, every coldness of mine with warmer preference, every worry of mine with more determined persistence. With the most sincere, stubborn, and magnanimous youthful heart, he melted my rational barriers of years, disintegrated all my worries and defenses, and softened my tense heart completely. I gradually understand that true passion is never defined by age, and sincere devotion never limited by identity. Love is never a trade of weighing gains and losses, nor a compromise of worldly matching, but mutual attraction of two souls and mutual perfection of each other's lives. He is a born high jump genius and a natural light chaser, passionate, pure, and unyielding. And I am the one willing to stand behind him, light his way, pave his path, escort his journey, and accompany him to the peak. I can be his strictest and most professional coach Luo on the training field, polishing his skills, correcting his weaknesses, planning his future, and stabilizing his mentality. I can also be his gentlest, most tolerant, and firmest lover in life, accepting his childishness, tolerating his sensitivity, healing his anxiety, and guarding his sincerity. I have seen his high-spirited brilliance on the field, leaping against the wind and shining brightly for all to see. I have also seen his childish softness and stubborn sensitivity in private, like a child who needs exclusive preference, care, and healing. The outside world only sees his sharp radiance, but only I understand the fatigue and tension behind his glory. Competitive sports are never a glamorous stage, but days and nights of dull training, repeated standing up after failures, gritted perseverance through injuries, and mental suffering under immense pressure. He seems fearless and brave, yet bears countless pressure and expectations. He needs someone who understands him, trusts him, guards him, and tolerates all his emotions. And I am willing to be that person. Many people wonder why I choose a younger teenager with less life experience and seeming immaturity. But maturity is never synonymous with age, and sincerity never an accessory of experience. I have met many worldly, sophisticated, and calculating adults whose love is full of scheming, trade-offs, and reservations, utilitarian and secular. But Duan Yucheng's love is pure, magnanimous, warm, and unadulterated. No calculation, no reservation, no falsity, wholeheartedly and utterly sincere. He comforts me gently when I am tired, relaxes me when I am tense and rational, chooses me firmly when I am hesitant and uneasy, and trusts, prefers, and relies on me unreservedly even when the whole world doubts and denies him. He gives all his pure sincerity, burning passion, and firm persistence to me without reservation. This unreserved sincerity is the most precious and rare tenderness I have found in the mortal world. My life was once defined by calmness and restraint. I handled everything methodically, treated people with precise boundaries, lived an orderly life, and controlled my emotions perfectly. I once thought this was the best state of life, sober, independent, and impeccable. But after meeting Duan Yucheng, I realized that an overly sober life lacks burning fireworks. A truly perfect life is not eternal rationality and self-restraint, but having someone who understands your restraint, warms your coldness, breaks your orderliness, allowing you to lay down your armor, reveal your softness, love boldly, and live freely. He lets me know that I do not always have to be the unbreakable Coach Luo. I can also be Luo Na, who is preferred, cherished, and valued. I can have weaknesses, softness, unease, and dependence, no longer needing to be strong, rational, and perfect all the time. In front of him, I can lay down all professional tension and adult disguise, becoming the most authentic, relaxed, and calm version of myself. Our love starts on the training field, loyal to sincerity and perfected through mutual fulfillment. On the training ground, I am his coach, teaching him perseverance, precipitation, confrontation, and growth. In life, I am his lover, accompanying him in tenderness, passion, magnanimity, and long years. I witness his transformation from a young newcomer to a strong arena athlete, from a reckless teenager to a steady man. He witnesses my change from rigid sobriety to gentle vitality, from lonely self-restraint to being deeply loved. I once worried about worldly opinions, public criticism on age gap love, and gossip about identity differences. But I finally let go of those worries. True love never needs explanation to the world, and sincere devotion never fears secular judgment. Life belongs to oneself, sincerity belongs to oneself, and happiness belongs to oneself. There is no need to live in the eyes and words of others. Age is never a gap for love, nor identity an obstacle for affection. His youthful passion warms my remaining life. My mature tenderness stabilizes his future journey. We complement, fit, coexist, and perfect each other. His youthful spirit heals my adult restraint. My mature tenderness supports his youthful dreams. We never abandon our respective passions for love. Instead, we become better versions of each other because of love. He still loves high jump, chases glory, and rushes to the arena, never stopping his steps forward for love. I still adhere to my original heart, devote myself to my career and guard dreams, never abandoning my professional faith for affection. We support, encourage, and fulfill each other mutually. He rushes toward his blazing path, and I guard my original heart. Love and dreams go hand in hand. Tenderness and glory coexist. I once thought competitive sports were cold, tracks cruel, and wins and losses ruthless. But Duan Yucheng lets me see that the track holds more than victory and defeat. It carries burning passion and pure original heart. The road to dreams contains more than sweat and bitterness. It holds mutual tenderness and healing. It is he who adds mortal warmth to my years of professional faith and endless fervor to my dull and orderly life. For the rest of my life, I will remain a professional coach, guarding every young dream on the arena. I will also be a gentle lover, accompanying my teenager through every mountain and sea, every glory, and every long year. I will always stand behind him as his firmest backing, steadiest confidence, and strongest support. He only needs to leap bravely, chase fearlessly, and pursue his dreams boldly. I will block all wind and rain, doubts, frustrations, and confusion for him, soothing and resolving all his hardships. People ask me if it is worthwhile to fall in love with a younger teenager. My answer is yes, infinitely worthwhile without a single regret in my life. I have seen the most utilitarian love in the world, calculated trade-offs and abandoned devotion, so I cherish this pure and mutually fulfilling affection deeply. He is the wind-chasing and light-chasing teenager on the track, the hottest starlight in my plain life, and the only heartbeat for whom I restrain my reason and sink my whole life. My reason yields for him, my principles make exceptions for him, and my remaining life is warmed solely for him. The track is long and blazing. The wind remembers the teenager's devotion, and years witness our companionship. From now on, the wind has a destination. Dreams have a place to bloom. I have him, and he has me. The teenager chases the wind upward, and I accompany him through long years. I dedicate my tenderness to the years, my sincerity to time, and my mutual fulfillment to this lifelong, unregrettable, blazing love on the fiery track.